Oh, okay. So, have you read Weight Loss Apocalypse?
I'm halfway through it.
Awesome. So you're getting the gist of the approach that we take, the use of hunger, which is really important. Did you understand the science behind all that?
Yes.
Can I ask you a couple quick questions? It looks like, tell me if you have issues with sugar in the past, growing up.
No, I was always really a thin child.
I'm talking about your weight or your size. I'm talking about sugar. Carbs and sugar. Did you, when you were pregnant, is that something you loved to eat? Is it something you had a lot of?
My first pregnancy, yes. My second pregnancy, I was type 2 diabetes, so I was on a very strict diet.
Okay,
didn't gain anything.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then you've had 4 pregnancies, 2 miscarriages. Yes. How about through any of those? Same thing?
A little bit, yeah.
So your last pregnancy, is that the one that you had the pregnancy diabetes?
No, that would have been 2 pregnancies ago.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I basically couldn't eat really anything, and I only gained 14.5 pounds through my whole pregnancy.
Yeah. You felt okay, you just had to really moderate your intake.
Yes.
In between those pregnancies, your food, have you binged on food? Did you gain a ton of weight? I just want to get the history of those pregnancies. This is really kind of important feedback that I need to understand what might be going on.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it mostly candy, sweets, pastries?
Breads.
Mostly bread. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And lots of it.
A lot of it.
Because were you rewarding yourself? Was it...
I was a bored eater, and that's just my...
And you had one child at home?
Yes.
And so, were you working?
Yes.
So you were working, had a newborn, and bread with butter, bread with jam, bread with olive oil, bread with anything.
Olive oil, anything. My husband loves bread, so I just went along with it. And
homemade bread?
Everything. But mainly, it was going to be store-bought, processed.
And then you'd have, how much?
At every meal, really.
Every meal. Breakfast?
Breakfast, yeah. You'd have toast, you'd have English muffins, you'd have it all.
Okay.
And then, of course, lunch there was going to be some kind of bread. And then, of course, there's got to be a bread served at
And then
dinner.
you said you'd eat boredom eating,
yes.
and you'd eat bread.
Like crackers and still on those
So
lines.
it wasn't necessarily sugar, but it was very starchy,
very
high glycemic.
Mm-hmm. Add potatoes
and
to it.
And lots of them.
A lot of it. Yes.
Okay. Are you surprised you have thyroid problems now that I'm saying this stuff?
Yeah, because nobody's really ever...
Well, it's obvious to me why you have a thyroid problem.
Okay.
You basically kick the crap out of your thyroid. Every time you eat, especially sugar and starchy food, it turns on the thyroid. What do you think happened over a long period of time? Eventually, it's got to try to create a set point, and if you're constantly telling it to go off the roof, it's going to set its baseline really low to try to offset. You know what offset means? Try to get room for that stimulus.
Got it, yeah.
So, ta-da! You did it yourself! Good job! How do you feel about that?
I'm embarrassed, really.
Well, don't be embarrassed. You didn't know. It's not like you're sitting there every time you're eating this huge thing of crackers going, this is going to kill my thyroid.
Interesting, because my dad is a big bread eater, too, and his thyroid is bad.
And he has diabetes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, honey. And you may have a genetic propensity, which I'm not even going to agree with that. You did it yourself. Your thyroid only has so much shelf life, and same with your other organs. And eventually, if you tax it, it cannot handle what you're doing, or it's trying to offset or compensate for all of that stimulus. Now, don't feel bad because the damage is done. But the reason why I bring this up is in this, you were very confused. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Most of our modern day endocrine issues are self-induced based on food, the types of food you're eating, okay, and how much you're eating. And as a woman, it is so hard on your system. And you know, one of the telling signs is that your pregnancy diabetes, your body was obviously not functioning well hormonally, and it did well though when you had to cut down on all those starches. So it healed itself when you let go of those foods and the behaviors. I have some great news for you. I honestly believe that we can heal this, not we. I'm not going to do anything besides slap you in the face a little bit today and get you excited. Yeah. I truly believe that you can heal what damage has been done.
It would be nice.
I've seen it happen before. I'm not guaranteeing it. It requires you follow this protocol and that for the rest of your life that you learn from this mistake. But I truly believe that, and I've seen it enough, we can change the rhythm of your endocrine system. We can improve it, and we can give your thyroid a break. A break.
Yeah, medicine keeps going up.
Okay, so I do believe that the thyroid can heal with time and rebalancing. What this protocol is going to do is take your hormones, which are tipping this way, and they're tipping this way because you have too much fat and you're eating the foods that are the most powerful hormonal stimulants, breads, crackers, and starches. And it's going to give your body time as your fat is gone. Day to day, your fat is going to be depleting and depleting and depleting because you're going to be using it for fuel. Eventually, it's going to start tipping in a direction where the hypothalamus is going to be starting to go faster and work more efficiently. This is the fountain of youth. We are about to fix the damage. I'm not sure there is any way to do it otherwise.
I've tried everything.
Well, you're about to try something that's going to blow your mind. There's more to it than just thyroid. Your sleeping patterns, your sex drive, your hair, your skin, energy, just your overall level of feeling good is going to get better.
Well,
Is it worth doing the risk of this protocol?
Yes, just because I'm feeling so run down. My body's just feeling so tired and cold, and all the thyroid symptoms. I'm so tired of it.
How long have you been on Thyroid?
For 4 years.
Okay.
And 4 or 5 years, and it's increased.
So since you were 38, because you're 42 right now, and every year, and again, I was saying, and it's gone up, your need for medication has gone up with your weight. As your weight goes up, that's all hormonal.
Yes.
You have too much leptin. Would you say your eating behavior has pretty much, outside of the diets that you've done in between, that does this to your eating behavior, pretty much the same?
Yes.
That's why. You gain fat, even though your behavior is the same, as you gain fat, your hormonal disease is increasing.
Yes, I couldn't figure out why that I'm not eating any differently. Why is it that my thyroid keeps getting worse?
Because you were not eating any differently.
Yeah. Correct.
So you're going to have to rethink this. You're going to have to open your head up. It's like, okay, if you were running a business and it was going under and every month your profit margins were less and less and less, and it's not making enough to work, what would you do? You're going to have to open it up and look at it from beginning to end. And
what we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm doing wrong.
And it's really about not what medication can I take to fix this.
Right.
It's how can I change and take the risk to see if that's truly it. If this is a genetic issue where your thyroid genetically is made to not last very long, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Which is good to know.
Yes, that is good.
Yeah, but and at least know, well, you're doing your part. And it's not about going on diets to lose this fat. It's really about changing the way you eat so that you're not causing damage to yourself.
Yes.
Isn't that more profound? Don't you think that has a lot more meaning besides you need to lose fat and then this will get better?
Yes, because I couldn't figure out what the link was. I couldn't figure out what the thyroid problem, the fat, my eating. I mean, I just had never had anybody explain it to me.
So now that you've read half of Weight Loss Apocalypse, is the puzzle, are these pieces starting to fit together? Like, oh, there's a lot of excuses. You wrote down, I'm eating with a hunger, but I justify it all. There's a lot of excuses, and I'm convincing myself I need that food, even though I know I'm not hungry.
Oh, yes. Yes. And I know to wait until I'm hungry, and I still can convince myself tired. You get in that mode where I'm just give up, and it's so easy to do that with feeling so tired with a bad thyroid.
Oh, your adrenals are a big problem too. They're connected for sure.
Yeah.
But, do you look at, I need you to see this. What needs to be fixed? The body or the excusing, the desires, the wants, the medicating with food? What's going to have to change? Right. Is this a weight loss program or is this a stop bullshitting yourself program?
Oh, definitely. I need to stop the excuses of...
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is your primary focus. Mm-hmm. Stop excusing and justifying this behavior with food. Stop. And what I love about the hunger scale and the use of hunger is it makes the bullshit obvious.
Yes.
And you can tell. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have an issue.
Well, yeah, because I'm making excuses and everything, going to the cupboard and being bored and saying, okay, why am I in the cupboard? I'm not hungry. But then an hour later, I'll just make the excuse.
Well, you can have, entertainment with food and with that comes a thyroid disorder. So don't complain about your thyroid problems and your lack of energy if you're not willing to change this
Correct.
Crazy eating when you're bored.
Yeah.
You have got to divorce food. It's over. You need to be done.
Yeah, and when I was thin,
don't complain.
Yeah, and when I was thin and didn't have a thyroid problem, food was never an issue for me. It at that point where I was like, oh, I still did, over probably 8 once, but before I was pregnant, and where the starches and everything.
And and not only that, but when you started dieting, once you start dieting, that's when things go downhill.
That was my early 20s, yeah.
Well, that's when things went downhill. Yeah. That's when food became too important. That's when you started to binge eat. That's when you felt bad about eating, which is why you overconsumed, because you're just going to go on a diet to fix it.
Correct.
So the diet is a huge, that's the coal to the fire.
Yeah, all the glamour magazines want all of the diet stuff.
The diet, how to fix your stomach, how to lose belly fat, how to lose flab on your arms. I mean, that's the body image part of this.
Yes.
To think that, actually being thin makes you a better person. But dieting is depriving. Emotionally, it's a game you start to play with food with.
Yeah.
Prior to that game, you did not binge on food. You probably overate, but you didn't binge.
Right.
So dieting equals binging. It's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. So you've got to end that too. So there's layers of work that needs to be done. But I truly believe that this can be done and you can heal if you finally admit that you are the damaged person. Like, what's a better way to say that? The damaged person. You are the problem. The great news is that because of that, you can get a solution. It's not dependent on some doctor to tell you what medication to take. You can fix this, you can improve things, but you have to really hate your desire to eat without hunger. You have to not want to do it anymore. You have to be so fed up that it's over. It's not, I'm fed up about the way I look and how fat I am. Who cares about how fat you are? Really? Who cares? You have a loving husband, right?
Yes.
Who loves you unconditionally. Yep. Children love you unconditionally.
Yep.
Who cares that you're fat? I don't care. I don't even care about your weight. Don't call and complain about your weight. I really could give a shit. I'm more concerned that you heal physically and that you get some relief from this game, which is insane.
Yes. I mean, it's exactly. My family loves me. It's not that. My body just feels so tired.
Is that worth giving up food?
Yes.
It hasn't been.
It hasn't been, no.
So what all of a sudden happened?
I just am fed up. I'm tired?
Then don't forget this.
Done. No.
Don't forget this the next time you're like, man, I'm bored. And my brain is saying, eat some food, because you've trained it to say that.
Yeah.
So don't forget that.
No, I can't. I just, these games and everything, I can't take anymore. And I just knew there was something when I kind of talked to my girlfriend who's done this and encouraged me, and she said the same thing. She goes, you are going to feel wonderful on this, because she knows what I've dealt with my thyroid. So it was encouraging. It
is going to be encouraging. Just do not forget that you're the foundation of the problem. The physical is an outcome. The physical, without argument, is awful, I'm sure. I do have compassion for you there. It's not fun. But man, when do you see it as you're the problem and give your body a chance to prove it's not messed up. When have you given it a chance? It's always been under, I gotta lose weight.
Yes.
So that is too shallow. You are not to monitor your weight during this protocol.
Okay.
Don't ruin it.
Don't get on the scale.
This is about your thyroid. This is about your eating disorder. Your behavior with food that has become so disordered that it's causing damage.
Yes. And that's what I'm feeling.
So you fix this, what's going to happen to the outcome of your body? Now, if the thyroid damage is permanent, you have to accept that.
Correct.
But hopefully you feel better day to day with the medication because you're changing your day-to-day behavior.
Right.
So let's hope that first. And then if everything improves and we can reduce your thyroid meds, yay!
Yes.
Thanks for letting me share this.
Yes. Yeah, no,